You wear a suit to work, you have a business card, you attend shareholder meetings, file quarterly reports, and shake hands with city councilors. And the organization you serve controls more of Tokyo than the government does. This isn't a gang. There are no back alleys here, no street corners, no men with gold chains and visible tattoos. What you work for is something far more dangerous than that. It's a corporation, so with a century of history, a formal hierarchy, a tribute system, and estimated revenues that exceed most companies listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. It's the Yakuza. And you are not a criminal. You are an asset manager. This is your life, level by level, inside the most sophisticated criminal empire on Earth. Level 1. The Recruit. You are 22 years old. You work collections for a construction subcontractor in Shinjuku. The job is simple. You show up, you ask politely, and somehow every debt gets paid. Your supervisor has never raised his voice, not once. You've never seen him threaten anyone. You've never seen him lose. One evening, he takes you to dinner. A private room in a restaurant you couldn't afford to walk into alone. He orders whiskey, expensive whiskey, and he tells you there's a better position available. One with a real future. The Yakuza don't recruit in dark rooms. They recruit the way every elite institution recruits. By making you feel chosen. Syndicates like the Yamaguchi Gumi, Japan's largest, with tens of thousands of members at their peak, built their pipelines through exactly these kinds of legitimate feeder businesses. Construction firms, nightclubs, debt agencies. They find the young men mainstream Japan has already rejected. Men from Burakumin communities, Zainichi Koreans, men who grew up knowing the system wasn't built for them. You are one of those men. You don't sign a contract, you bow, and that bow means everything. Level 2, the Soldier. Your territory is 4 city blocks in Kabukicho. You collect every Tuesday. Nobody argues. Nobody runs. Nobody calls the police. Not because they fear you, but because the system is so deeply embedded in how this city operates that resisting it would simply be unusual. Like arguing with a tax bill. This is the Mikajime Ryo, the protection fee system. Businesses across Tokyo historically budgeted it as a line item. Just another operational cost. You manage gambling operations. You oversee loan collections. You coordinate with construction contractors on bid arrangements. A practice called dango, where public tenders are quietly pre-decided among approved participants. By noon every Tuesday, you've deposited cash into 3 different accounts. The money looks clean. That's the point. You're not working in the shadows. You're working in the space between the law and the world the law has quietly agreed to ignore. And you are very, very good at it. Level 3, the front operator. You manage a real estate agency in Osaka now. 7 employees, a reception desk with fresh flowers, a coffee machine that costs more than your first car. Your staff are good people, hardworking. They believe in this company. They have no idea. You process property transactions. Some properties are acquired below market value through buyers who don't ask questions. Some are sold above market value to companies that don't need to profit. They need to move money. The paper trail is immaculate. After the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, Yakuza-affiliated construction companies were among the first on disaster recovery sites, securing government reconstruction contracts worth millions before legitimate firms had filed their bids. The organization doesn't wait for opportunity. It positions itself inside every system, legal, financial, governmental, before the opportunity arrives. You look at your 7 employees. You've started protecting them, making sure nothing touches them. The harder you work to make it look real, the more you forget it isn't. Level 4. The financial architect. You sit across from the CFO of a mid-sized Tokyo manufacturing company. He has a problem. 200 million yen in bad debt. A creditor who won't negotiate. A situation that, if it surfaces in a quarterly report, ends careers. He needs it resolved. Quietly. You explain the fee structure. He doesn't ask questions. By the time you leave, your firm is a registered vendor on his company's approved supplier list. This is the world post-bubble economy created. When Japan's property market collapsed in the early 1990s, Yakuza-connected borrowers were estimated to hold trillions of yen in bad loans backed by inflated real estate. Banks were drowning, and the syndicates, who understood how to move distressed assets better than any legitimate firm, pivoted. They didn't just launder money through Japanese business, they started selling services to it. The corporations sitting across the table from you aren't victims, they're clients. The Yakuza didn't infiltrate Japanese business. Japanese business invited them in and handed them a key. Level 5. The political fixer. You attend a fundraising dinner for a prefectural assembly candidate. You're introduced as a business supporter. The candidate is younger than you expected, idealistic. He talks about infrastructure, about schools, about rebuilding trust in local government. You listen, you smile, you write the check. 3 weeks later, a zoning variance your organization needed passes through committee without resistance. You never made a single call after that dinner. The historical connections between Yakuza networks and Japanese conservative politics are extensively documented. In the post-war decades, organized crime figures served as informal logistics arms for political machines, mobilizing voters, suppressing opposition, and maintaining order at rallies. Figures like Yoshio Kodama, a wartime intelligence operative, later a CIA asset, later a central power broker between the Yakuza and the Liberal Democratic Party, showed what was possible when criminal capital and political ambition shared the same table. That table never disappeared. It just got quieter. You understand something now that you didn't at level 1. The law is not above the organization. It exists alongside it. Power isn't about being feared. It's about being present at the right table and never appearing on the record. Level 6. The Crisis Manager. It's 11 p.m. on a Thursday. A junior member has assaulted a civilian in Shinjuku. There's video. It's already moving across social media. You have 6 hours before the morning news cycle. You make 4 calls. A lawyer arranges direct compensation, more than any court would award, delivered faster than any legal process could move. A settlement is signed by 2 a.m. 2 newspaper advertising departments receive calls from affiliated companies. The framing of the story shifts by morning. An isolated incident, a former associate, already resolved. By 9 a.m., it's page 12. Japan's anti-organized crime laws, the Botaiho, enacted in 1992, created one of the world's most unusual paradoxes. A criminal organization required to maintain official membership registries filed with the police. Structure made visible. Accountability enforced through exposure. The organization adapted. It got better at crisis management than most corporations. You sit back in your chair. You realize you haven't felt anything for the last 6 hours. Not guilt, not stress, not relief. You processed a problem. The organization doesn't make problems disappear. It makes them irrelevant. Level 7. The International Operator. You're in a hotel room in Macau. The view is extraordinary. $100 billion of casino infrastructure rising out of reclaimed land. Money made visible. Power made architectural. Across the table, a representative from a mainland Chinese real estate group and someone else. Someone whose business card lists a trade ministry you know as a diplomatic fiction. The deal you're structuring tonight will pass through 4 jurisdictions. It will arrive back in Japan as legitimate foreign investment returns. The U.S. Treasury's OFAC designated the Yamaguchi-gumi as a transnational criminal organization in 2012. At the time, the Syndicate's financial reach already extended through Hawaiian real estate, Australian property markets, and Southeast Asian casino networks. The designation changed very little, because at this level, the organization doesn't operate through fear or force. It operates through complexity. No single transaction is provable, no single relationship is documented. Everyone in this room speaks only in approximations. You fly home tomorrow. You are not on any manifest under your real name. At this level, the suit is still perfect, but underneath it, you belong to no country and no law. Level 8, the Inner Circle. You are escorted into a room you have heard about for years. It is smaller than you imagined. A low table, 2 cups of tea, pale walls, silence. The man across from you has not committed a crime in over 30 years. He doesn't need to. At this level, you don't commit crimes. You receive outcomes. The Kumicho, the supreme boss, sits at the apex of a feudal hierarchy that has operated continuously for over a century. At the Yamaguchi-gumi's peak, estimated revenues reached into the hundreds of billions of yen annually. The tribute system, Jonokin Adesistasis, flows upward through every level, from every territory, through every front, arriving here a ceremony. He pours the tea himself. He thanks you for your service. There is no drama in this room. No performance of power, just silence. And you understand for the first time completely that silence is the power. He doesn't need to threaten you. He simply knows, and the knowing is enough. You are in a restaurant in Shinjuku. Private room. Fresh whiskey. Across the table, a young man, 22, maybe 23. He works collections for a construction subcontractor. He's been doing it for 8 months. Every debt gets paid. You pour the whiskey. You tell him there's a better position available, one with a real future. You built nothing. You inherited a machine that was already running when you arrived, and will keep running long after you're gone. The only question that ever really mattered, did you choose this, or did this choose you? Looking across the table right now, you realize it doesn't matter anymore.